Browns continuing preparations for the Jets on Sunday, here in Berea on Thursday. Almost got my days confused there. And of course, the big story remains Tommy Rees taking over as the play caller. And Mary Kay, we got to hear from Tommy today. And I think the message that stood out to me was this idea of kind of putting your best players in positions to be their best. And that's going to be Tommy's mission here on Sunday when the Browns play at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, it's incumbent upon him to get the best out of some players who just really haven't been playing all that well. He's going to have to see what he can do with Jerry Jeudy this season. I think there's more to be had from David Njoku, all of the other receivers. Dylan Sampson hasn't really gotten a chance to do all that much yet. One guy that I talked to yesterday, Malachi Corley, I'd like to see more of Malachi Corley. I think you can do a lot with him. He sort of is in the Deebo Samuel mode, sort of a dual threat running back / receiver type of guy, and I think maybe you can do some things with him, perhaps some 3 tight end sets. So it'll be very interesting to see what Tommy comes up with.
Yeah, I think that's the intrigue here, is how different is this going to look? Obviously, they're working out of the same playbook. We know that Kevin and Tommy kind of think some of the same ways, but Tommy will bring his own spin to things, Ashley.
Yeah, and that's what Tommy Rees kind of reiterated today, right? Like, every play caller, things are going to look a little bit different, but these guys are still very much working together. And, like, important to note, it's not like this is the first time Tommy Rees has ever called plays. He did so at the highest levels in college for Notre Dame and at Alabama under Nick Saban. So also an interesting little wrinkle there, considering how many young skill players the Browns have on offense.
Yeah, he did mention that he has worked on game days with some very intense head coaches, so he's ready for that friendly fire, as he called it, coming over the headsets. Now, one of the injuries we're really watching this week is Carson Schwesinger. This is interesting because he did talk to us today, so that's at least an indication that maybe he's going to try and play on Sunday, but we'll see, because Mary Kay, he did confirm it is a high ankle sprain, and we know that type of injury doesn't really heal for honestly a month, sometimes a little over a month. So even if he can get out there, you've got to imagine he's going to be limited.
That's right. I mean, I would be surprised if he plays in this game, but as you mentioned, the fact that he talked to us, maybe that is meaningful. But usually with the high ankle sprain, you can expect to see a guy out for a few weeks. Maybe not. He had the bye week to heal, and some sprains are worse than others. So he's young. Maybe he's healing quickly, and he won't be out as long as some guys with a high ankle sprain are. And that would be good for them because, of course, we know he's the defensive signal caller, and he kind of is the glue that holds the whole thing together out there.
Yeah, and look, we've seen offensive linemen kind of fight through this. I remember J.C. Treader doing it a few years ago, but it is different for a guy like Carson because, Ashley, one of the things that really is important is his mobility, and when you've got that high ankle sprain, especially in those early stages, it can be hard to move.
Yeah, he flies all over this field, I think very similar to Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in that way. Fans kind of latched on to that very quickly. So if he's not able to go, I think we'd expect to see more of Mahmoud Diabate stepping into that role. Obviously, the Browns have really grown to like him over the last handful of years. He's dealt with injuries of his own, but he's also a guy who's been that green sticker guy in years past when they've had injuries at linebacker, so has experience in that spot too.
Now, Cam Robinson was back from his illness today. We still did not see Schwesinger, of course, on the practice field. We also didn't see Isaiah Bond on the practice field. And one guy we're monitoring, we're recording this before the injury report has come out or before we've gotten word, but Harold Fannin was not on the practice field. And, of course, Mary Kay, we know how important he is to this offense. So something we're monitoring here over the next couple hours.
Right, and when you're starting out with a new play caller, you're coming off of the bye, what you don't want is your leading receiver and your leading yardage getter to not be on the football field. So they need him. And the first thing that came to my mind was this illness that seems to be circulating through the team. Maybe that has something to do with it for Harold, maybe not. We're not sure yet. But hopefully for the Browns, he'll be back on Sunday.
Yeah, he's been so important. And Ashley, Mary Kay mentioned those 12 and 13 sets. It's been sweeping the league. The Browns have obviously embraced that. It's so important for a team that has so many questions in their receiving core. And Harold Fannin just has hit the ground running as a rookie.
Yeah, again, against New England, receivers only had 2 of 21 receptions in that game. This receiving core has struggled. Harold Fannin has done a lot for them. He has a couple of touchdown grabs. Again, 7 touchdown grabs for this team. Receivers only have 2, both from Ced Tillman. So they're definitely going to need him to get one of the worst passing offenses in the league going downfield a bit more.
Okay, well, when we have word on Harold Fannin, you'll hear about it at cleveland.com/Browns.